Okay. And I'll
All right, so we're joined by Ole Miss admissions counselor Julia Corso, the admissions counselor aficionado for everybody here in Madison County Schools. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, Madison Central, and the Academic Options Center. So getting all the great information from Ole Miss out to all of our seniors as we get into the graduation season.
Yes. Hey everyone. Like Mr. Greg said, my name is Julia Corso, and I'm y'all's admissions counselor for Madison County and just for Ole Miss. So I'm here to help y'all with any questions y'all have about anything from how to get accepted to what scholarships you need to be looking at, or how to get on campus, or even if you have some questions about what to major in. I'm the person to talk to. I changed my major 6 times at Ole Miss and still graduated on time. But yeah, it's hard to figure that out, and so I like to help people where I can. But I'm going to share my screen
Go
and start this little slideshow, I guess. Okay, can y'all see this?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so first, just build your legacy. Your legacy awaits with Ole Miss. That's kind of our little motto right now for prospective students, because when you think about your college years, you are building your legacy and kind of what your future is going to look like. And we would love for you to build it with us. But I'm going to get started by talking about Ole Miss and just some fun facts. So we are the University of Mississippi, but are more, I guess, common and affectionately, we're more known as Ole Miss. So that's anyone from fans to students to alumni to just even prospective students know us as. We're the oldest and largest university in the state of Mississippi, and this makes us the flagship university. And more recently, we were voted the #1 university in the state of Mississippi. So we have students from all 82 counties, I think, in the state of Mississippi, all 50 states, and over 80 or 90 countries in the world. So you're not just going to be surrounded by Mississippi students, which is something that I think makes us really special compared to other universities, even across the country, is you're going to get 50-50 in-state, out-of-state. So you're really getting exposed to other types of students from different backgrounds and upbringings and things like that. So our current student population is anywhere from 18,000 to 22,000. The 22,000, that number includes all of our students. So it includes the law school, the medical school, and all those graduate programs. For what y'all are looking at undergrad. So that's going to be around 18 to 19,000 students. We've just had the past 2 years, we've had the biggest freshman classes in the state of Mississippi history. And so hopefully we'll break that record again. I'm really excited. So hopefully y'all can join that class. And I know that seems like a large number to some of you who are going to really big or really small high schools, or you're at a big high school already and you're like, that's nothing. I could do this. With all that being said, we are third or fourth smallest in the SEC. So in terms of SEC and, resources, you're still going to get all those research opportunities, the funding. With us being a public institution, you're still going to get funding for all that stuff and all those opportunities, but you're not going to be drowning. So a fun fact that I like to tell students is, you can see on my screen, it says the average class size is around 34 students. And so I think it's like 90% or more of our classes are 50 students or less.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy, because when you think of a huge 4-year university like Ole Miss, you don't think that you're going to have that opportunity there. And so you're still going to have those big classes of a couple hundred students, but even those are going to be broken down into small discussion-based classes or like biology labs. So I think my biggest class might have been like 200 max, and like some of the students didn't even show up. So it wasn't too bad. I came from a really small school, graduated with I think 35 people from the Delta, so not a lot of people down there. So yeah, and then what's really cool is our retention rate is 89%. I think the national average is not even close to that from freshman to sophomore year. So it just shows that students who get to Ole Miss, they want to stay with us. So one of my favorite facts about Ole Miss and Oxford is that not only are we named the most beautiful college campus in the country, we're also voted the best college town in the country by Southern Living, ESPN, US Today, and Newsweek. So you're kind of getting everything that you need in one. But here's a cute little picture of the campus. So that's the circle looking at the Lyceum, which is kind of the heart of campus. So, okay. So like I said, Oxford was voted America's best college town a couple years in a row. And this picture that we're looking at is the square, which is our downtown. We don't have like a big metropolitan downtown. We have the square, which is just a square or a circle roundabout of all of our shops and restaurants, and it's just the heart of Oxford. So that's the courthouse, but we're looking at Square Jam, which is I guess an agreement little program that Ole Miss athletics, men and women's basketball have with the city of Oxford, and they do this little showcase of basketball to get people really excited about the upcoming season. And so we actually just hosted it a couple weeks ago, and it was a really good turnout, and they had a lot of fun. And it's just a fun way for our fans, students, and the community of Oxford to feel included in athletics. But Oxford is just such a special place. So down there it says, no matter where life takes you, this place is always going to feel like home. And I can attest to that 100%. All my friends after graduation, we all scattered. Some of us are still in Mississippi, but I have friends in at least like 30 states right now. And at any given time when we're trying to plan our, I guess, reunions, you could call it, we always come back to Oxford because no matter how much time has passed, there's always something new we want to do or something we want to do again, or a football game to go to, or just people we want to see. And so this is just our little home base. And it's sweet because that's where we met. Double Decker, you see this down there, is a really fun festival we put on in the spring. It's over a whole weekend. Normally there's some baseball involved with it. But Double Decker, they block off the whole square, and you can take tours around the city and around campus in the Double Decker bus, which is really fun. If y'all haven't done it, definitely would come up for that. But you also just get to go to different art vendors and food vendors and really see all of the, I guess, artsy and musical side of Oxford that you might not see on another given day. We have a ton of local artists, local food vendors, food trucks, musicians. They all like to congregate in Oxford, so that's a good way for them to showcase their talent and get some exposure. So yeah, I would love for y'all to come visit Oxford if y'all haven't already. Y'all can let me know. Y'all can email me or call me, and we'll get that set up. Are they gonna ask me? Y'all can ask me questions as we're going, if that's
We're
okay.
gonna have the questions at the end. You can keep going.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next one. We're gonna get into the fun stuff, majors, academics, and things like that. And I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I don't want to bore all of y'all with. We have over 120 programs of study, and that would be a really long Zoom recording or just meeting for us right now. So we're just gonna briefly go over these. I think one of our biggest, well, they're all pretty big and popular, but the Patterson School of Accountancy is a really big one that people come from all over the country to be a part of, because not only are we #1 in the SEC, we're also #8 in the country for accounting. And so it's really cool. A lot of opportunities there. Students who are in our accounting program their senior year, you have the opportunity to participate in an internship during the spring semester. And more times than not, students who participate in that internship, they leave with job offers. And you also have the option to stay and do your master's for your 5th year. And then by the time you sit for do your master's and graduate with that program, you have enough hours to sit for the CPA exam. So you have to sit for the CPA exam, you have to have, I think it's like 160 hours or something. I could be totally wrong off with that. I was not an accounting major, but I think you graduate with like 125 or 130 or something. So your master's bumps you up to that credit hour mark. So that's a really good program, and keeps students here and enables them to sit for the CPA exam. Our School of Applied Sciences is kind of a mixture of some majors, but think of it where human and health services like combine. So think of anything from like critical, I'm so sorry. My mind just went blank, but pre-law. So any kind of like pre-law things like that, or you could do exercise science, social work, things that are kind of you're giving back and helping people are going to work with them through that. That's going to be found under our School of Applied Sciences. Another big one for us is the School of Business Administration. So our School of Business Administration has a special accreditation. It's the ACCSB or something, but basically it means we're in the top 5% of business schools in the country. And what's a little different about our School of Business is that you notice that our School of Accountancy and School of Business are separate. That's because we realized that a lot of those students, they have similar needs, but they're also very different. And so when you enter and you want to be a business major, you might not know if you want to do banking and finance or business administration or entrepreneurship or, real estate or risk management or insurance. So we made it to where if interim freshman or sophomore that wants to do business, you can declare business, but you declare a general business major. So you start off your freshman and sophomore year just taking your gen eds and some general business classes so you can figure out what path you wanted to go, and then you can declare specifically within the School of Business. And a lot of students end up staying general business because they realize how broad it is and it's not going to narrow them down. Our School of Education is phenomenal. A couple different like majors within that, anything from secondary to elementary education. We even have a health and physical science, physical education program, and that's for students who really want to go the coaching route. So you don't really necessarily want to do a typical education degree. I was talking to a student at a college fair and he was like, but I don't want to be a teacher. And I'm like, well, you have to have like a teaching background to be a coach. And he was like, oh, okay. So like, this is going to be your route. They also have special education emphasis areas and a major within that. And then our School of Engineering is the oldest engineering school in the state of Mississippi. And so we have a couple different majors within there, from civil engineering to mechanical to electrical, computer science, and computer programming is a really big one. I think that's on the rise. And so with, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but College of Liberal Arts is going to house anything from, let's see, humanities to sciences to social sciences to even the fine arts. And so what's cool about our computer programming is that there's two paths you could take. So you could do the hardware side of things and go through the School of Engineering, or you could do more of the software side of things and go through the College of Liberal Arts. So you could do a BA. So that's a really good thing to think about. And it also kind of makes you think about what you want your future to look like. And you could also, like, if you get through the School of Engineering and like, say you take a couple classes for computer programming and realizing you might want to do the software side of things, that's okay. You can always change. You're still going to be taking your gen ed classes. The Office of General Studies, they actually only offer one major that you can graduate with. But if you are a student that's coming in totally undecided, like I was, you're probably going to change your major a couple times, maybe even 6 like me, but you can start off as freshman studies. So basically when you do that, you have your own advisor that's going to work with you one-on-one and make sure that, you know, you're working towards trying to figure out what you want to do. You're not just sitting stagnant, taking some classes and just, you know, enjoying life. So they also offer an interdisciplinary degree. So basically that means you're making your own major. So say you want to do something like marine biology, and Ole Miss doesn't technically have a marine biology degree, but you really want to go to Ole Miss, which I hope you do. But you can make your own degree. So you'll combine a couple minors. It's either 2 minors, or you could do the multidisciplinary studies, which is through the College of Liberal Arts. And you combine 3 minors, and it's very tailored to what you want to do. So say you want to do marine biology research, not really the hands-on stuff. You want to be in the lab. They'll make sure you're getting the right classes and the right background and the right, I guess, internships to make sure that when you do apply for jobs, you know what you're applying for, and your future employers are going to say, okay, this student knows what they want to do and they've actually practiced it. They haven't just been sitting in a classroom for 4 years. So like I said earlier, College of Liberal Arts, humanities, fine arts, social studies, and the sciences. This is our largest college on campus. They hold majority of our majors. So anything from biology and chemistry to you want to get an art degree or theatricals or film production, anything like that, it's going to be found under the College of Liberal Arts. So more times than not, you're going to be a College of Liberal Arts student, which is great. They have a lot of resources for students and just a good community. School of Journalism and New Media has a little piece of my heart. I was an integrated marketing communications major. And so IMC is basically what my major was. It is a combination of, I would say, like modernized marketing and social media. You get a business background because you get a business minor, a little journalism involved, and you can also emphasize with that. So they say it's real world right now. So our students go off and do everything. I have friends that work for ESPN and TikTok, or, you know, SEC Nation. I work in college admissions. There's really not a limit of what you can do. And then we also offer a journalism degree. You're just basic journalism. And there are emphasis areas within there too. There's tons of resources on campus for students to start getting practice at whether it's broadcast, radio, print newspaper, magazines. We have all these organizations on campus that are student-led. So you, instead of just, like I said earlier, sitting in a classroom for 4 years, you're actually building your own portfolio. So by the time you graduate, you can send that to employers and say, this is why you should hire me. So we also just started our own sports communication major this past year. So that'll be really interesting to see how well that takes off. I know we have a lot of students interested in that. Last but not least, our School of Pharmacy is also a huge school on campus. A lot of my friends throughout the years at Ole Miss, and even now they're in their last year of pharmacy school, but we're a top 25 pharmacy program in the country. So that's awesome. And we offer an early entry pharmacy program. So seniors, you can apply for it right now. It's located in the special programs and scholarships application. It is a competitive program. You have to interview, but if you are accepted into it, you have a guaranteed spot in pharmacy school for your senior year. So you don't have to go through, it's a phenomenal program. You won't have to go through the stress, I guess, of, psyching yourself up for an interview because you've already done it when you were in high school. You will have to maintain the GPA requirements and things like that. But if you're dedicated and pharmacy is what you want to do, definitely recommend looking into it because top 25 pharmacy school in the country, that's awesome for Mississippi.
Yep. And we got two Velma Jackson alums that have done that pharmacy program.
Are you serious?
Yep.
I love that. I love that. They have this little sweet spot in my heart. It's all my friends and my roommates. So I'm kind of a part of the pharmacy fam, they like to call it, but without doing all the hard work. Okay, so we're gonna go on to special programs. So you'll see that the pharmacy early entry program is listed on here. And so basically these are special programs that are going to be competitive entry. The applications for these all open as soon as you apply for admission. You're going into your senior year, and the deadline is going to be January 10th of your senior year. So the two flagship programs for the Arabic and the Chinese flagship programs, or the language flagship programs, are basically I guess they're like 5-year intensive immersive language programs that you don't really have to have much background to do it. They're funded by the Department of Defense, and they get that flagship designation from the government, which is really cool to say that, Ole Miss has these recognized programs. And so what's cool is that I don't want to say wrong, but it's either the Chinese or the Arabic is one of 6 flagship, like language flagship programs of that language in the country. The other one is one of 12, and I'll be totally honest, I don't remember which is which. But so they're really cool. And those are for students who, you want to get really involved with that culture, that language, and really go that route with your life because your 5th year will be spent totally abroad. So it's a 5-year program. Yeah, you'll start the summer before your freshman year, and you'll just constantly go through that. And so you'll double major with that, which is a really cool program. The Center for Intelligence and Security Studies is another really great program that I don't think not a lot of students know about. But basically, it's for students who are interested in national defense or anything with the 3-letter government agencies. So FBI, CIA, DEA, things like that. I definitely recommend they look into these programs. So the CISS, they offer 2 minors. One of them is a competitive minor that you have to take the intro class to even be considered. So you would take that your freshman year, you apply, you kind of go through the process, and you're accepted or denied. The other one you can just apply for and do the minor. It's not a competitive program. So that's something to think about. But we constantly have like the FBI, the CIA on campus actively recruiting our students from this program because they understand the value of this center and what it's doing for the students. So it's really nice that Ole Miss is, recognized in the intelligence community. The Center for Manufacturing and Excellence is a phenomenal program for any students who are majoring in business, accounting, or engineering. Basically, it's a 12,000 square foot manufacturing floor on campus that students who are accepted into this program have access to. So the engineering students are kind of building stuff and making prototypes. The business students are trying to figure out how to market it and how better to, get it out there. And the accounting students are trying to figure out how to make the most money from it, but also make it cost effective. So it's really cool, and it gives you a lot of experience outside of the classroom. And so the CME and a lot of these special programs have a 100% job placement rate after graduation because the industry professionals understand what they're doing in these programs, and it's not just you're sitting through a class. So with the CME, you graduate with either a minor or an emphasis area in manufacturing, which is really cool that not a lot of people can say. And so if y'all ever wanted to come tour that, I would love to set that up for you. It's a really cool facility. They have so many toys and gadgets that you could play with, like water jets and 3D printers, which is really cool. Like, I don't care how many times I see a 3D printer, I could just watch it all the time. Wood carvings and etchings and things like that. So that's a really cool one I'd love for y'all to come check out. We talked about the Chinese language flagship. The Croft Institute for International Studies is another language program, but it's a little bit different than the language flagship programs. So this is another immersive language program, but it's only 4 years. You will double major. So if you get accepted to the Croft Institute, it's a competitive program, so you have to apply. But you'll pick your region of the world, and then you pick a language associated with that region. And then you pick a concentration. So anything from international business to, I think it's cultural and social identity. I know there's 4 concentrations, and those are the ones I'm thinking of right now. But you get to pick what you really kind of want to focus on with the area that you've chosen, and that's the track you go through Croft. You do have to study abroad for a semester, but you can study abroad as much as you want. I will say you can also study abroad if you aren't a part of the Croft Institute or the flagship programs. So we have a normal study abroad office. A lot of people ask me that. But the Croft Institute is really great for students who want to graduate fully fluent in whatever language and region that they are interested in. And again, like the flagship programs, you don't have to come in with a lot of experience for whatever language that you're looking into. The next one is the Mississippi Excellence in Teaching Program. This is a really great one for students who know they want to go into education and they won't mind staying in Mississippi for 5 years. So METP for short is an agreement with the state of Mississippi that if they pay for your college, like completely, they'll give you a stipend to live off for all 4 years. You stay in the state of Mississippi for just 5 years and teach. It could be public school, private school, a charter school. It could be wherever in the state that you want, and you can move every year if you wanted to in the state. But you just have to stay in the state for 5 years and teach, and then your contract is up and you can go anywhere. More times than not, I think you're going to stay. But it's such a great opportunity for students who, know education is what they want to go into. They're a little worried about finances because I think, in this day and age, everyone is. So it's a great opportunity. It's a competitive program, so you do have to apply. But I always tell students, do it. It's worth the opportunity. There's programming that comes with it and huge networking opportunities. So it's more than just getting your college paid for, but I think that's the big selling point for students. We talked about pharmacy. I think the biggest special program that people are interested in is the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College. It's one of the most prestigious honors colleges in the country. And basically, it's a way to make our already small university feel even smaller, like a small liberal arts college. But the classes are around, I think they're capped at 25. So even if you're worried about having those bigger classes, it's not going to happen. You also get access to the Honors College building 24/7, which is really nice if you wanted to go study and didn't want to go to the library, or maybe you're having to pull an all-nighter and the library closed. So you got to go to the Honors College. You also get free printing, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal. Printing is expensive. So there's a lot of benefits that come with it, but it's just a lot of networking. You will write and defend your own thesis before you graduate. And so that's really impressive for students who are going to grad school after, or law school or med school. And it says right here, 96 of Honors College seniors are employed or enrolled in graduate school by May of their senior year, which is cool. The Trent Lott Leadership Institute is an institute that if students are accepted into it, you will have to double major. So you would double major in whatever you wanted to, and then public policy leadership. And so they kind of market it or brand it as students who want to go into public service. And a lot of students are like, well, I don't want to go into politics. That's not really what they mean. They are just kind of just molding you to be someone who can help others, and you know how to work with that. It is a lot of policy and change makers, but I always tell students, if you want to be one of the change makers in the world, I would definitely look into this program, or even just come talk to them about it and see what more they could tell you. But you'll take specific classes with them, and again, a lot of networking and programming opportunities through this program. So it's great. So I think this is a big thing that I wanted to talk about today, is the cost of attendance, financial aid, any tips, things like that. And then we're also going to talk about scholarship. So the cost of attendance that we see right here, it's going to be broken down. So billed expenses or direct costs are things that are going to come directly from us and billed to your Bursar account, which is going to be on your Ole Miss account. So your tuition is going to be $9,252. That is for the whole year. That's not per semester, for the whole year. So don't see that and be like, what the heck? So your capital improvement fee and student activity fee, that goes for anything from just like activities on campus, or, capital improvement fee goes to the facilities and stuff. So small fee to pay for that. Your housing and your food that you see, that is using the most expensive dorm options and meal plan options. So you don't have to pay that much if you don't want to. We just use the most expensive options so we can offer them a scholarship, because it'll raise the price of our price tag. And it says right here, 80% of freshman students receive some type of financial aid or scholarships. I'm here to help you not even pay a fraction of that price. So work with me on that. But the total for residents for a year is $21,452. Like I said, most of our residents, Mississippi residents, aren't going to pay a fraction of that. So work with me and we'll get through that and keep knocking it down.
Yeah,
But
and the
your indirect
Mississippi Financial Aid opened October 1st. So that is open for everyone right now to go ahead and get in on. The FAFSA opens December 1st, but every single person, if Ole Miss is anywhere on your radar, no matter where you want to go to school, everybody needs to fill that out. That's here with me now and watching later, MississippiFinancialAid.org.
Yes. So that's a good one. And so the FAFSA does open December 1st. Okay. I knew I haven't heard anything yet. So I've just been like saying some point in December.
December
Okay.
1st.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the Mississippi Financial Aid application, the FAFSA, our competitive scholarship application, and we also offer a micro scholarship platform called Raise Me that I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, so these indirect costs are things that we're not going to bill you. These are just an estimate that students that we've talked to in the past said, oh, I think I spent $1,200 on books, which is a little crazy to me because I know books are expensive, but rent them on Amazon. Do not buy your books because one, they're cheaper on Amazon to rent, and two, you don't want to be stuck with those books. My mom still has a bunch of books from my freshman year that I didn't know about renting yet, and they're just sitting in my room at home. So you don't want to be stuck with them. I guess we could take them and donate them to the library or something, but you don't want to be stuck with them. So that's a good way to do it. Chegg is also a good one because you get access to all the study materials online, but do not pay outright for your books. Like that's just no one does that. Personal and travel, again, that's just an estimate. I'm talking to in-state students right now, and it's only 2 hours from Madison, 2 hours or less to Oxford. You're not going to be paying $3,100 for travel unless you're flying across the country to a football game. And that's on you. I love the Rebs, but don't know if I could do that. So it's really, in terms of colleges, not that expensive. I know you're looking at this like you're crazy, but like I said, most of our residents, in-state residents, aren't going to pay a fraction of this cost. So types of aid are scholarships, grants, loans, and federal work study. We're going to look at these first two. We don't really want to look at loans right now unless we have to at the end. Scholarships and grants are free money. Scholarships are going to be awarded based on anything from leadership, community involvement, academic merit, things like that. And they can be awarded to you from Ole Miss or from external sources. So look at both. We want to apply for all the scholarships that Ole Miss has to offer, but also external scholarships from the community and from the state. Grants come from the state or the federal government. And so this is why you need to apply for the Mississippi Financial Aid application and the FAFSA when you can. Loans, you're going to have to pay those back. So we really don't want to take those out unless we have to. And, at the end of the day, sometimes you have to. It's going to be worth it. But let's try and get the free money first. Federal work study is also, it's a part-time job opportunity for students on campus who express financial need. So that's another good way to pay for college. So instead of you'll get a paycheck, but it's going towards your bill, which is nice. So we're going to talk about our automatic scholarships, or, these are scholarships you don't have to technically apply for because you've already done the work or you've already received this recognition. So I think a big one is going to be academic merit. So you're looking at your ACT, your GPA. So we are test optional right now to be accepted. So all you need to get into Ole Miss is a 2.0 GPA on your core classes. And I know a lot of you are like, that's really low. Like, we took the ACT. Why are we taking that? You're taking it for scholarships. So our scholarship started at 23 super score and a 3.0 GPA. That alone is going to get you $1,000 a year. And if you have a 3.5 GPA or above, you will be getting an additional 1848 award. So that can be an additional $2,000 or $4,000 depending on your ACT score. And like I said, that's your super score. So you can keep taking it, and there's no deadline to get us this for the automatic scholarships. As long as you send us your ACT score from your ACT account and we get your GPA from your transcript, or your counselor sends me an email and says, hey, so-and-so is a valedictorian, I'll send it to financial aid and we'll get that scholarship awarded on your packet. Mississippi Star Student, Sumner Scholarship. I don't know if any of y'all live in these counties, so never mind. If any of y'all did Boy State or Girl State, there's a scholarship just for attending. So you email me your certificate saying that you went, and you get $1,000 for your freshman year.
Wow.
If you're an Eagle Scout or Girl Scout, you get the Gold Award or the Eagle Scout Award. So student body president, there's a lot of automatic scholarships that you don't have to apply for because you've already, like I said, received this recognition or designation, or you got your ACT score. So those are a lot. There's a lot of money to be had in that, but there's also a lot of competitive and need-based scholarships. So all of these that are listed are going to be, you can be, I guess, thrown in the running for these as soon as you apply for our special programs and scholarships application. You have access to this as soon as you submit your application. You don't have to wait to be admitted yet. So it's really nice that you can start working on this as soon as possible. There is a deadline of January 10th for these. And so I will say,
hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off, Julia. So January 10th is the deadline for all of these.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so some of them do require recommenders and recommendations. Those aren't due on January 10th. So you can submit your application on January 9th, and you don't have to email your recommenders and be like, you need to submit this by midnight tomorrow. They have, I think, a couple weeks, or maybe it's like 14 days after the deadline to submit the recommendations. So I think like Lucky Day, Honors College, and some of the other special programs that we talked about require those. And I will say for Honors College, if anyone's interested in that, and that's going to kind of be a deciding factor for them, there is an early action deadline of November 1st. So I know that's really soon. So if you submit your application by November 1st, you'll find out by Christmas if you were accepted or waitlisted. And then they'll reevaluate you later on in January when they look at all the other applicants. So that's a really big incentive for students who are kind of like, Honors College is going to make or break my decision, and they don't want to wait until March to hear back. So I will say you can't submit one part without submitting the other, if that makes sense. So it's all in one application, and there's separate boxes within it. And if anyone wanted to, like, I could sit with someone and show them, because I know it kind of gets confusing for students. I do that. We'll go grab coffee or something and go through the scholarships app, but you have to submit it all at one time. So you have your shared information, which is information that's going to go to every scholarship committee, every special program. And then you also have your special, your special programs. They can see what you're putting in their application and the shared information. Freshman scholarships, they can see what you're putting under their application. And then they can also see your shared information. And I know that's a little confusing, but once you're looking at it, it makes more sense. Ole Miss Opportunity is a really great scholarship. It's a little based on financial need and academics. I think you have to have a 3.0 high school GPA, and you have to be eligible for the federal Pell Grant. We'll look at the FAFSA for your family income, but basically if you receive and qualify for Ole Miss Opportunity, Ole Miss will cover the gap in the cost of attendance after your other scholarship and financial aids.
That's why you got to get on that FAFSA. As soon as it opens, everybody needs to fill it out.
Yes. And so I'm pretty sure if you receive help, you more than likely will receive OMO. And so that's another incentive to do the Mississippi Financial Aid application and the FAFSA. So we just have all the information that we need, because if you qualify for this, we want to give you this money. So if you're getting $12,000 from scholarships and financial aid, but like we said earlier, the cost of attendance is $21,000, however much money, Ole Miss will come in and fill the rest of that money. So it's like $9,000. They'll give you that money. And say you lose a scholarship one year, or you get a scholarship, so it bumps you up to $15,000. OMO kind of changes each year for your need. So you're not going to have to pay your cost of attendance if you receive OMO, which is really great. So, and I'll work with students through the upcoming months as we're getting the FAFSAs, and I'm kind of, financial aid is telling me who's going to qualify and things like that. So Lucky Day is also really great. Competitive scholarship. It's $6,000 a year. You'll live in the Lucky Day dorms. They're the nicest dorms on campus, and it's only for Mississippi residents. So you have to have a 20 on the ACT or higher, and a 3.2 or higher on your high school GPA. And you'll I guess be a part of some programming and networking opportunities. But I mean, it's $24,000 over 4 years. Like, that's a pretty good scholarship if you ask me. So I definitely recommend students apply for that. We also have scholarships for the School of Business, Accounting, Engineering, and Journalism. And there's also alumni scholarships that students can apply for. outside of this. So tons of scholarship and money opportunities that students just need to ask about. I want to be here to help, but we're going to move on to the next steps. So I think most importantly right now is make sure that you've submitted your application. And I always tell students, use our website to apply. We do take the Common App, but the Common App, it just takes a little bit longer for us to process. You have to do all those essays involved, and we don't even look at the essays for admission standards. It's nice that you've written some essays. You might can reuse them for your scholarships, but our application takes 5 to 10 minutes. It's $40, totally, not a big deal time wise. And at $40, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you qualify for a fee waiver, and y'all can send me your fee waiver and I'll get that process so you don't have to pay the $40 because $40 is a really nice meal or some shoes or something. So I want to make sure y'all have that. After you submit your application, you need to send us your high school transcript. That way we can evaluate you and work on getting you admitted. So it could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to hear back from our office once we receive your transcript, due to the influx of applications and stuff. And then it says send us your ACT or SAT scores directly from the testing agency. But like I said earlier, we are test optional. So unless you just have an ACT score where you know you're going to receive scholarship money, you don't even really have to send us your test scores. And then, like we talked about, the FAFSA, submit the FAFSA, but also the Mississippi Financial Aid application. I cannot stress that enough. I think every Mississippi resident is considered, is going to receive at least something. Might be $250,
And
but
and that's what I always say. You never know what you might qualify for. So everybody used to fill it out.
Yeah, so $250, that's still $250. That's great. So in addition to the financial aid, federal and state, submit the special programs and scholarships app by January 10th. If y'all have questions about that, I'm going to put my contact slide up in a couple slides and we can talk about that. But there's a lot of money that students don't even apply for because they don't think they're going to get it. And I know it's really cheesy, but the worst you can be told is no. I would rather you get told no than, you might find out that you qualify for something or receive something. And then once you're admitted, you can visit olemiss.edu/new student for, housing, scholarships, orientation, things like that. But you can also just come to me. I want to make sure y'all are getting all the information you need to do that. And once you are admitted, and if Ole Miss is in your top 3 or 5, let's do housing. I don't want anyone to be on a wait list situation and not get the best dorm that they wanted or something. This past year, we had a wait list for housing, but every freshman who wanted housing on campus or off campus, they had it. So we, in the end, didn't have a wait list, I guess. So that's really cool. So here's how to schedule a campus visit. Y'all can scan the QR code, visit the website, or you can honestly just text me for the link. This is my number, my email, and my Instagram. I know a lot of students like to keep up with me just via Instagram. I'll call students on the phone, they ignore it, and immediately DM me on Instagram. Hey, what's up? And I'm like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And that's fine. I want to be accessible to y'all. I'm going to meet you where you are. So any questions, they're not too little, too big. I just want to be able to answer anything and make sure that if Ole Miss is where you want to go, you're going to get there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess I'll leave this up. So.
And we've got screenshots of that we'll send to our teachers. Now, before I get to the students, I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I know you focus on the freshmen, but obviously we have some students that have already gotten scholarships to certain athletics and things like that at community colleges. So what type of relationship does Ole Miss have with the community colleges if somebody is going to do the community college route their first 2 years?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'll be honest, if a student does go to a community college and is deciding to transfer, I wouldn't be their point of contact, but I still like to keep up and, see what my students are doing. We have transfer recruiters, and one of them is one of my best friends. So I know y'all are in good hands if that's the route y'all choose. Any community college that you're going to go to in the state, you're going to be able to directly transfer after. And in terms of money and scholarships and things like that, I tell students stay the full 2 years if you can, because most of our transfer scholarships are 2 years. So I don't want you to get into the situation where you're, I'm going to go for 1 year, transfer to Ole Miss, and then your senior year at Ole Miss, you're not getting anything. You might get some aid from the federal and state government, but I want to maximize your money, and I don't want you to pay anything if possible. So go for the 2 years if that's the route that you're going to choose.
Absolutely. Now, one more thing before I get to the students' questions is, obviously Ole Miss is known for its sports and its SEC atmosphere and everything. But what about the students that really aren't into the sports? Because, obviously I have some here with me that really aren't big sports fans, but Ole Miss
Yeah.
can still be a good place for them. So what are some
Yes.
things that, Ole Miss can offer to the kids? Like, look, I don't care about football. I don't care about sports. So what are some
Yeah.
things that can be offered to kids like that really don't care about that?
Yeah. So we have at Ole Miss, it used to be we had over 400 student organizations. And I actually looked yesterday because I was looking up an organization for someone, and it tells you at the bottom like how many. It's like showing one of however many. And we have 506 student organizations as of right now on campus. That number is constantly growing because last I checked a couple weeks ago, it was 470. So that's, over 30 organizations created in the past month, which is really cool. And so anything that a student is interested in doing and getting involved with and furthering their involvement, I guess, with, they're going to have it available. Or if there's something that for some reason they can't find an organization on campus, they can create their own. All they need is a couple friends and academic faculty advisors, things like that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, there's a ton of
The
opportunity.
networking aspect is so big. And there really are, because I was talking before lunch today that the education side is obviously important, but the networking side is just as important. So that's why, even if you aren't a sports fan, you can still get plugged in on these campus organizations, and that can connect you. Like you talked about the School of Accountancy. My friend who passed away a few years ago, he was in the accounting group there at Ole Miss and was able to land a job at Deloitte in Memphis, right out of Ole Miss, one of the largest accounting firms in the world. So it was because he took the steps to not only be a great student, but he used those resources at Ole Miss to get involved in the student organizations, which got him an internship and then a full-time job at Deloitte in Memphis.
Yes, and so that's a big thing with our School of Accountancy. There's a reason we're number one in the SEC and number 8 nationally, is because of the way that we do push our students to take these internships and network, because it's all about, at the end of the day, experience and your networking, because everyone's going to graduate with a piece of paper and a degree. And I sat through this class and made this grade, but okay, who do you know and what have you done? Like, what's your hands-on work? So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I did want to get to at least one question from the students because we are almost out of time, but this is from Shiana Harvey. She's our Miss Velma Jackson, and I think this is a great question, and it kind of sums up a lot what you were talking about. But she asked, why would you consider Ole Miss the best college for me to choose?
So I think it all depends. That question is a good one, but it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're thinking about staying in state, to me, I mean, not only is Ole Miss the flagship and we're voted the #1 university, we have all the stats and stuff to prove it, but get on campus, we offer just a community and home feel. So I've talked about, it's always going to feel like home no matter where you go. And I think that's really a big part of what your college choice should be, is you want to feel comfortable, you want to feel like you belong, and you want a school that wants you. And I know Ole Miss wants you because you're going to want to do one of our great programs and get involved with all of our student organizations. And if you're Miss Velma Jackson, like, we want you to come and be Miss Ole Miss. Like, we want you to run campus and really give back to the community. And obviously, if you are Miss Velma Jackson, that's, exactly up your alley. So I think that's why. And
Well,
just being
absolutely.
something bigger than yourself.
Awesome. Love to see it. Love to hear it. But we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. For everybody in Madison County Schools, this is your girl right here at Ole Miss, Julia Corso. We just had her contact on the screen. We'll definitely get that out to all the teachers. But we thank you so much for joining us today. But give us a hottie toddy before you go.
Hotty toddy.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.